How you guys doing today? Welcome back. Happy Monday to you. It is May 17th, 2021. If you're new here, first of all, congratulations. You like memes? You like good content, so I appreciate you clicking that. I'm very anti-clickbait, so again, for you to click on this and not some stupid, like, this guy's falling dirt kind of picture is really nice to see. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Evan. I'm going to show you all the great stuff about technical analysis. Now, what I always say about this show, with my cat gets in the way, he likes to be in here. Technical analysis is maybe 1/8 of what I do to be a successful trader. And I'm making a class on this, and again, not some pushing this class and being like, hey, you have to buy to be successful. It's only me. It's not. But technical analysis, partner with fundamental analysis, and again, mental analysis, which is never talked about. Partnering those three things together with risk management, consistency, goal setting, and of course, all your different components of confidence and your mental edge and your system brought together will make you successful. If this sounds interesting, if this sounds confusing, good. This is the right spot for you then. I'm going to show you in these charts at 8 today. Supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, EMA lines, volume profile, stochastic, vortex, and EMA lines, and RSI. I usually have 9 out of 10 today. Idiot. So I'm going to show you all these great things, what I look for in these charts. If you are new, again, I hope and wish you like and subscribe. I'll wait. No, I'm not going to do that. But again, liking, subscribing does help me out. I do appreciate it. To you. If you enjoy this kind of content, I do have a Discord where I give this stuff early video access. They have a newsletter every single night and every single morning about the markets and what stocks I like and why. And they have a really good community. I have 5 admin that I rely on to do a good job, and they do a great job. So if that sounds interesting, 7-day trial is still available. Down below, add me on Discord and I got you. Last thing I'd like to mention, it's intros, I want to make them a little bit quicker than usual, is that I'm really, really good at swing trading. A1. But I'm not really good at crypto. I bought Come Rocket. That was cool. Sick, right? I bought that as a joke and it made me money. But I don't know crypto. I don't know day trading. I don't know scalping. I don't know long-term investment that well. I insist you go find good people who are good on YouTube and these kinds of things, and you go enjoy them and watch them as well. But again, for technical analysis and swing trading, I think you're in the right spot for sure. With that being said, let's get into it. So today we have 8 new plays. I did call HZO Core Ones and TXN. Oh, I want my calculator money back. I'm getting it. We're calling you again, big fella. We have some great plays to go over. Let's do these together. Our first one is ADMS. But Evan, what are the lines? Show business, same joke. Let's do them together. So we have our supports and resistances. Our first line is going to be our support. Now this is a very pivotal play for that because we have an obvious strong support down here. OBVI, OUS, Phonics down here. We also have a very strong one right about here where it's kind of hovering at, right? We can see a lot of price action bounces off this area. And again, this is the importance of the show, is that you must draw these yourself. If you go off what I do exclusively, you're gonna have a bad time. I'm gonna keep that line there because I want to know that's a very strong support. Our first resistance, I'd argue, is probably right about there. Right, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. It's not perfect, but we can see it makes a really good channel from 100% moves. We can see a lot of the times it comes down and it makes the move 100%. Now this one is a little outlier, and so are these over here. But the recent price action, it works just fine. A trend line for ADMS is a little bit more convoluted because you can come down here, you can make this and see that this is, once, twice, anticipatory of the third. You come over here and see once, twice, anticipating the third, or even over here and seeing once, twice, possible 3 times, anticipating the third. So again, your trend line has to come down to your preference. I'm personally going to come more towards this area over here and come up and do this one. I think that we have a little bit more room to drop. Okay, just a little bit. But you can see, like, with this kind of move, like this kind of trend line, we get 3 or 4 good hits. It has some validity, right? Once, twice, 3, 4. And it does have some validity. But I also know for a fact that if it does break this area, $4.44 and some change is going to be the buy-in. And then down here, a full move is 20%. So if you don't trust this trend line, don't buy it. Right? If you don't trust this support, don't buy it. Again, this is a watch list show. I think there's a lot of validity with this play. I think I can see in the next few days, but if it does pull back farther, again, 445, 450 makes some sense. I like that a lot. Resistance trend line, you have a whole cornucopia to go off of here. Maybe you want to come from here, whatever it is. But we can see there's kind of, lower highs across the board kind of forming. I think a good one would probably just be, kind of like right about here. Come down, it doesn't have to be the best line. It doesn't be the most perfect line. But you should do something to signify to yourself when you come back and look, hey, lower highs across the board. We should be aware of this. Last thing we're going to add for our chart is volume profile. Again, there's different shapes. There's capital D's, lowercase d's, B's, P's, lowercase p's, ABC, AVGs, whatever it is, FDAs. But these are going to show you different sizes and shapes. But what you got to realize about these things is that it's all about volume, and they're not going to be the same for every single play. So again, do your research on what volume profile does. I use it for every play. You don't have to, but it's what I like to use because, again, I think volume is super important, especially volume by price, and you can split that with old volume and you get some really good reversal calls and stuff from that. So that's ADMS right there. Again, you can get rid of this bottom support if you wanted to. I will for this play. I'm going to put it back when I get done because I think that's a very important support to have. Last thing I want to add to my charts is going to be the name, because I'm liable to forget because I'm a big idiot, but also my Reddit game is hella strong, and so is my Facebook and Twitter game, so I got to have that on there. So what we're looking with ADMS, it's a pharmaceutical play. ADMS does have some hype as a pharma play. I could probably pull up FinViz and show you, or Tip Ranks and show you, but there's a lot of folks who are pretty high on ADMS. Your best buy-in, obviously, is going to be 450. Okay, anywhere down here is totally fine, but there is a history of getting this area and having huge spike ups when it kind of taps and retests it. So I have faith this support's going to hold. I have faith this trend line may form. I also have equal, if not more, faith that we're going to have a great buy a little bit lower. So again, watch list it. It had earnings. So again, this does start to plummet tomorrow. I'm not going to be salty. I'll actually be pretty happy to see it come down a little bit farther. Let's check the indicator and see what we see. If you're new here, new kid, yeah, old joke, new style, punk ass. So what's cool about this channel besides me is that we actually don't check the indicators before I scan. I don't go through these with like an RSI scan on or a vortex scan on or EMA line crossovers. It's all based off price action. So the first things that I show you in all these charts is what I see first. I've never looked at the EMA lines, the stochastic, the vortex, or any of that. So you're going to see live what I see. Again, it may help you kind of deduce what I'm looking at, what I'm breaking down. It should be good for you guys to see. It's pretty cool. So off the bat, we can see that we have a possible triangle forming, and the EMA lines are directly in the middle of that triangle, again, showing some form of consolidation. Most EMA lines, like with HCO, for example, are angled up, right? Or TXN are angled up. When ADMS is going sideways, that should tell you something, right? It's some form of consolidation, horizontal play. Core is the same exact way, right? So when we have a sideways move, it means that we're consolidating. Stocks can ascend, descend, and consolidate, but this is a long-term consolidation. Eventually, bears will win or bulls will win. But short term, what's more important is that these two lines will be resistances moving forward. So even if we do see a reversal down here, you can do a reverse down here, move up, we may hit these lines and not survive, right? You can see over here, you did not break the 200 and the 50. Over here, you barely broke the 200, retested the 50, and then took off. So again, your short-term price targets should respect the 50 and 200 EMA lines. RSI could be a little bit lower, but again, it's not based off of anything besides price value. It could be a tad bit lower, but again, it was just recently 30, and it's the exact same price. So again, not a terrible sign here. It's a good RSI for sure. Stochastic is low. I don't see any clear divergences. This is definitely, it's becoming one here and sideways, and here is way up is way more intense. So again, it may become one soon, but negative 40 curling north, that's what you want to see most of all. And then vortex, again, you'd want to see a little bit lower, bears a little bit higher, but if the bulls here do cross over, you very well may cross above the 50 and the 200, make a full move to the resistance trend line or the resistance itself. Probably comes down a little bit farther, taps here, comes up 10, 11% later, you'd be pretty happy with this kind of play. ADMS, fundamentally driven, therapeutically driven, pharmaceutically driven. Do your research, but again, a good pickup nonetheless. Next is COR, C-O-R, Coresight Realty Corp. This is a really good pickup. Let's go to the 10-year. I like to look at the 10-year sometime. Look at this. Absolutely stunning sideways move. Even absolutely great trend line here. I mean, it doesn't, it's not perfect, obviously, right? But this does keep breaking down a little bit farther. The 10-year chart, we may have some really good plays here. But the last few months, it's been just in this zone. Now, I did break down once because of earnings, but I came right back into it. That's a really good sign. But we can clearly see that this is a fantastic value. What's your worst case Ontario? You can probably hold 3 or 4, even 5% and be pretty confident that you're not going to have a huge break. The issue with doing that, though, is your risk versus reward. A full move is going to net you about 8%. I mean, 6 is probably a better guess. You probably want to take profits around 6%, or at least institute some kind of stop loss, because you see a lot of price action stops here, right? You can get 8 or 9% for sure. So again, I think risking 2 or 3% for 8 is a great move. I think 2% for 8% is 4 to 1, a great equation. Not a really hard play to read at all. Very horizontal. It's like a JDST or any of these kind of channel plays that we do, GALT before. So I like it a lot. Like IQ is a bigger version, FSM is a bigger version, much less risk, a little bit more less reward. But a COR for a realty play, it's a really good pickup. Let's check the indicators. So recently we had earnings, it dropped off, earnings, it dropped off, earnings, it dropped into it, it came back, it came back, it came back. So again, long term, that's really nice looking. EMA lines are directly in the middle. They're going sideways. And again, let's go back and just check. Look at that. It breaks the 200, it can hold, comes back. It breaks the 200, comes back, re-breaks, and keeps going. Over here, it had a hard time breaking the 50. It retests the 200, it takes off. Here, no problem at all. Over here, can't break it, can't break it, can't break it, can't break it. So what we're getting at here, once again with COR, like the other play we just talked about, ADMS, these two lines for a short-term price target may be an issue for you to put it above it. So you want to be like, oh, I think my price target is going to be 8%. Sure, I think long-term that makes a lot of sense. But if you hit 4 or 5% here and it starts to look a little shaky, you may be wanting to put a stop loss to guarantee some green. These may stop from making higher and higher gains. On the RSI, it's low. That's really good. Could be a tad bit lower, but again, 36, 6 more pips makes it official. It looks really good nonetheless. We have an obvious, nice, stochastic forming here. You want to see this come down a little bit farther. You want to see stochastic come down maybe negative 55. It really likes to reverse kind of, towards negative 83. That's your best deal. But you're just down there in the same move. So maybe it comes down a little bit farther. And even then, you can kind of see a divergence is kind of forming. This is curling up. This is going sideways, basically. It's a small one. I wouldn't guarantee much out of that yet. But again, if you do break negative 40, that's a great value. If it starts to curl north, that's a good confirmation. It's okay. Our vortex, it's consolidating. All right, it's going sideways. You want to kind of see either bulls just turn around and punch bears right in the fucking mouth and then go up, or you want to see bears go up. You want to see more of a drastic move to give us some more direction. But price action wise, COR, a fantastic pickup going down this channel. I'm sure if I looked up this volume profile, it's going to be a capital D. Look at that. Gorgeous, right? If your volume is down here, let me zoom in. Look at all this volume down here. You get less and less volume as you get farther from the middle. Who's buying this? Bears or bulls? Bulls. Idiot. And who's going to be buying it up here, right? If I were to do the same exact thing up here. Who's buying this up here? Bears. And so we can assume that with a capital D shape like this, more towards the bottom, more likely than not, it'll be mainly bullish volume. As we kind of break above the POC, it kind of shifts to one or the other. So that's a great side nonetheless. Core, volume profile, it all checks out. I like it a lot. Next is HZO. This is a really good pick that I've done multiple times. And again, I wish I would have called it, was it some Thursday? Yeah, this would have been a great call. But, I had a bunch of really good calls last Thursday anyway, so it's okay. This is still pulling back a little bit. I think for HCO, for me, I'm a big fan of value for this kind of play. And it may take weeks. It may take off again and do one of these and take another 2 months to come back down. That's fine. I don't break my rules. But if HCO tomorrow does pull back 4 or 5%, and we do have a red day, which we may, I don't think we're going to have a horribly red day tomorrow. If you're in my Discord, I'll tell you why. It should be okay, I think. But, we had a really good looking uptrend here, okay? It's not really the perfect channel. It's okay. This is an alright channel up. It's a little skewed. You can also argue it's maybe a broadening wedge. Like, maybe this was the broadening wedge like this. I'll show you. Like this. And then now it's making a new pattern over here. It's very possible which way it wants to go. I'm not quite sure. But for me, HZO, the play is going to be a 5 or 6% drop. It gets towards keeping higher lows. I want to hold 54.75. I want to hold this gap. You see this gap? Where is it? Right there. I want to hold this gap. It's a baby one, but I want this to be where our new price action starts from. Pull back, hold above that gap, and then take back off. If you have faith, if HCO's charting looks different to you, if you see something that I don't see, You want to buy tomorrow? Fantastic. But I think that this is going to be, if it does pull back 4 or 5%, a very, very nice play. Let's check the indicators. So I know HCO pretty well. What you should be doing, in my opinion, if it does break above and go green tomorrow, once it breaks and holds above the 50, and it breaks and holds against this resistance, so about 2% confirmation, you can then probably go long and be just fine, because you'll have properly stacked everything where your price is above the 10 EMA, 10 above the 50, 50 above the 200. That's pretty good for a buy-in for a confirmation play. But then also once you move up, you can put your stop loss, which is this. Put your stop loss like here, right? You know, it goes up, this whole candle goes up. This is then going to be your stop loss area. That's a fine play right there. RSI, it's fair. Could be a little bit lower, but again, this huge sell-off and you're only like 2 or 3% higher. That's fine. It's a good sign of life. This is where I think it may pull back some. It's super overbought, so this does come back down. That's going to be a great sign for us. It has the history, though, of like holding up here for a long period of time. So I'm not overly shocked if it kind of dips a little tiny bit and then comes back up. But you want to stay a little bit lower, but that's fine. I'm not overly concerned with that. And then bulls low, bears high. Everything barring stochastic being high is almost perfect, minus it being a little bit too high for a buy-in, for my opinion. If it crosses over the 50, I would definitely go for it if you like it. Otherwise, I want that 200 EMA line. I want that value for that kind of play. HCO, the worst you can do with it is watch list it and watch it in the future. Next is LEA. I like Lear Corporation quite a lot. This is a really nice ascending triangle that's forming. We have a very clear resistance here. Now I could have put the resistance line there, and that would have been a very valid move. But again, in this kind of market, I think it's super important to set realistic goals. And I think I get a lot of hate in different discords for calling people out about their price targets being bad. And I don't think that's necessarily their fault. But I think when you put a price target exorbitantly too high, or you want to be like getting the full move like of 100%, it doesn't equate that way all the time. So I like to make sure I'm very realistic on my charting and my price targets, especially in this kind of market. If this does pull back when I want to like 2 more %, it hits 4 or 5% here, I'm willing to take my money out if it doesn't show any life right here, right? So I think it's super important to set realistic goals and realistic expectations. I would expect, hopefully, in the long term to go 196 again, right? Which means, a good 5 or 6% move. But this is also the more important resistance to me right now. Again, kind of a tangent, but again, I feel passionate about realistic goal setting. Do I want to buy LEA right here? No. I want to buy it maybe 1.5% lower. If I can get a small deal on LEA, I'll be happy. I am looking at this sell-off from earnings. It makes me a bit concerned, but it does that every single time and it always comes back. So I'm not overly concerned. Let's see the EMA lines. Let's check out the indicators. But if LEA does pull back, 1.5%, 2% comes down here, it'll be a complete snack, a great risk reward. I like that a lot. Let's check the indicators. So the 50 once again has some really good clarity. If it breaks above the 50, just like HCO, and it breaks and it holds and it breaks that resistance, you can go long and try and get a 5 or 6% move while risking 1% or 2%. Again, that checks out risk versus reward. It could be better if it pulled back, but if it does cross over and you like it, worst case you break even. Not a bad kind of trade. RSI could be a bit lower, but it's ascending. All right, you got to understand, on your ascensions, on these huge trends up, you're not always going to get a 30 RSI. It happened twice in the last 6 months. So not likely, but again, it's a fair value versus plenty in this area. It's okay. I like it a lot. When it comes to our stochastic, it's not diverging in any way, but this is definitely curling down. So again, I want to see it pull back down. Give daddy some more red. Hit negative 40, curl back up, and let's print. That's what I want to see happen. Bulls, where you want them. Bears, where you want them. So again, I think the worst case here, LEA, give it a day, let it come down. If the markets look red tomorrow, you just pray that LEA tanks 2% and that's it, and you can buy in. LEA, I like it a lot. Next is LEU. This is kind of the curse of my life, besides being so dashingly ugly, is that LEU was one that I saw this morning. I put it on, I'm pretty confident I put it on my Discord. I don't know. But I saw this happening, and now it's up almost 6% since I called it, / when I saw it. So take it with a grain of salt that you've already missed the best buy-in. So again, let's see if there is a EMA line set up. This is a beautiful triangle, though. This is effing gorgeous. If we do see an EMA line that it's bouncing off of, or that it's above it that we can break above, I'm a little bit more confident. Right here, you're in no man's land. You're 2% to the resistance, 3 or 4, 6% to the support. No. So LEU, it's a uranium play. I like uranium a lot right now. Like UUUU and CJJ are really good uranium plays as well. But right here is a no-go for me. If it does hit the resistance and it breaks above it, that's a different conversation. Let's check the indicators out real quick. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. You have missed the boat for a value play, and again, that could be some stupid schmuck on here who's like, no, it's fine, it's good. It's not. This is not a good value play for this kind of play. I think we have clarity now, but again, I'm not gonna lie to you. LEU, the play from right here, there's gonna be 2 of them. You have 2 choices. Let this die tomorrow. If it does come down 5 or 6%, now you're back in value. You should like that, but you should be a bit concerned that you have a lower high established then. The only thing that you should give you some confidence is that it does that a lot. It comes up, hits this, comes down, takes off. Comes down, hits this, comes down, takes off. Comes down, hits this, hits that, takes off. So again, it may pull back, waiting for the first pullback, a logical play. Second thing that you could do is wait for it to cross above the 50 and the 200, show some life, retest, and then take off. So again, you want to wait for a crossover play, do it. You want to wait for it to pull back, Chef Boyer Swing approves. In my opinion though, don't sue me. RSI, it's dummy low, a full move here, you got plenty of room, and it goes over bought to like 60 a bunch, so it's almost 17 pips up. You got a lot of room to run up. RS or stochastic is low, that's really good. It's curling north. You're going from -40 curling north. If it makes a full move here, that'll be glorious. Bulls low, bears high. Only issue with LEU is that you need to have a confirmation on a 50 or 200 or EMA line that you use, or SMA line or MA line that you like in this time chart. You need to cross back above it, or you gotta get a better value. LEU, watch list it. Same with CCJ. I called that a while ago. Oh, look at it, it's a moonshot. Who knew? And then you also have UU. Again, oh, almost another moonshot. Called that last week. Oh, 13%. You're welcome. Next, and my personal favorite. Wait, hold on. Okay, then the next 3 are my favorites. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Is Site, SITE. Get out the way, idiot. Site 1 Landscape Supply Inc. It sounds like a cat or a deer kind of company. Look at this channel up. You're gonna make me act up, Site. So this is a really beautiful pickup, though. I mean, this is adorable. I mean, this is beautiful. It's handsome. This is fine. The S&P 500 like a freaking Bon Jovi on a steel horse, my boy. This is exactly where you want it to. I pray and I hope when I call these at like 1 or 2 o'clock that they hold till 4. This is exactly where you want it. Oh, this is beautiful. This is, again, a full move, 15, 16%. It's done that before. You may beat this for a month or 2 weeks, but a full move is there. The risk, oh, it's so low, 4 or 5%. It breaks everything. You can get rid of it, buy in lower. Oh, my God. This is an earnings play, so you got to do your fundamentals. It said, hell yeah, earnings, brother, shit, and then it just crashed. So again, this is definitely on folks' radar. This is a great trend line to support into the POC. This is what dreams are made of. So SITE, again, is it going to work? Hell do I know. It may not work. It very well probably will die because it's the way this goes. But for our technical standpoint, and again, that's missing a lot. You got to have risk versus reward, fundamental analysis, mental analysis. You got to do research and all those kinds of things. But from technical standpoint alone, SITE, snack. Let's check the indicators. Oh my. You're gonna make me act up. Look at this convergence. This is what my system is built on. Look at this. I'm gonna get all mom spaghetti right here. Look at this. 200 EMA line right there. Trend line right there. POC right there. Support. It's all right here. Then what else would you want? What more can the stonk gods do for you? I mean, you have all the convergence here. It taps the 200 and it comes back. This is, look at it, low RSI. You have low stochastic curling north, low bulls, high bears. This is what dreams are made of. This is where heroes are made. This is where legends are made. This is where surf is made. This is where PSNL was made. This is where all the plays that we talked about being money printers come from. This is the shit that no one else talks about. No one else is going to be like, hey, site looks good. They're going to be like, hey, why is Tesla down? Why is Bitcoin down? I blame Elon for my problems. But like, if you watch this channel consistently, look at this and again, it may break. It may break. I'm not going to say it's going to win. But it comes to everything we work for here that I want to find. All that's coming together for support. Everything is low. Earnings is behind us. I mean, site may be one of the best calls of the month. I know it's going to break now because I'm talking shit. I've been saying how good it is. But like, just for an example, what you look for, SIT is it. It's beautiful. So next, and this is a very small company, Theravance Biopharma, TBPH. A very confusing for someone like me who stutters and mumbles a lot. TBPH is not a fun ticker, you jackasses. So this is what's interesting about TBPH. Look at this. This is like KPTI before it gave me an aneurysm kind of setup here. Glorious. Now there is one caveat, a good word for an idiot like me. There are two trend lines that are extremely valid. Okay, this dotted one, in my opinion, has won 2 times. This golden one has won 2 times. But the resistance trend line, this is a very key thing for newbies. The resistance trend line does look like it matches the dotted one more than the solid one. And again, this is preference. You can see how this doesn't fit. It doesn't fit as well. Now you definitely have some arguments to be made that that's like where it should be, but I would definitely argue that the dotted one fits better. So I'm willing to go off the dotted one. I am. But even up here, we're still 3% away. So are you confident enough to trust this dotted line and this support? Because if you want to play off this solid one, that's 4%. You're pulling trigger a little bit too early. I will also mention, look at the reversal time. 13 days. 9 days. 9 days. It's been... No, I'm kidding. Where else are you going to get bare naked ladies jokes with stocks, dude? This is premium shit right here. So it takes 9 days. From here in birth to POC, it's only been 6 days. I'm not saying that you have 3 days and it's going to reverse. I have no idea how long it's going to take, but mathematically speaking, historically speaking, you have a few days to watch it. And I think it's important to watch the S&P, right? It's coming down. This is definitely more towards the Russell. If this does hit this resistance area and die tomorrow, I would expect to some extent that TBPH is also going to die. We can also check out healthcare as a sector. It's getting near the resistance here. If this also pulls back, with the Russell pulls back, we should see this hopefully pull back into our area of value. If what I just said is confusing, I suggest you subscribe and like this video because you have more stuff to learn. Welcome to my classroom, nerd. So again, great setup. I think it may come down a little bit farther, but a full move, which it's done. 22%. Snackish. Let's check the indicators. Whew, thank God. I thought these email lines were about to be down here. I was going to have a problem and I was going to lose my shit and be like 2 plays in a row that made me excited. Again, they are going towards the middle. The trajectory of these is fairly even with the channel. That's really good, showing that they're kind of going the same speed. It looks pretty good here. These will be resistances moving forward. Once again, they're not always going to be created equal. See, 50 bounced, blocked it twice, then it tested it. So it looks like the 50 is going to be the one you want to watch. See, the 200 stop this action here. So these will be resistances moving forward. So your short term, not long term, 2 months, but short term swing play. Your price target should not be much higher than 1970. Now, this does come down farther. That makes the risk versus reward better. But 6-7%, it starts to show some death here. Again, be ready to pull the trigger and get out. RSI is low. Stock, it's saying it can pull back farther. That's what you want. You want to see this come down all the way to the danger zone. Comes down a little bit farther, and it starts to curl. We have an obvious bullish divergence. This starts to come down, and this goes up like this. That'll be an obvious bullish divergence. If it starts to come down and then show some life, that'll be a great play. Bulls low, bears high. Again, barring the EMA lines and barring the convolution on which trend line is better, TBPH, again, it's a pharma play. Do your fundamentals. Could be a massive hit. Last and certainly not least is fucking Texas Instruments, baby. I mean, I've said this joke, but it's not a damn joke. I've made this claim multiple times. TXN prints. You know how big of a company TXN is? 165 billion with a B. These dudes literally print, and they literally have calculators on deck. This is a great company. I make the joke, look at this, printing. I make the joke that they took my calculator money and I'm bad at math, and that's very true. I've actually got my money back. I actually bought it right over here. It's like, it was pretty good. It ran up and I put like $1,000 in, so I got my money. I got my calculator money back. I'm pretty excited, but I want to get more. I'm getting greedy. Give it to me. So TXN, I'm not getting greedy. That's just a joke. TXN, I wouldn't buy here. All right, this is too high. But tomorrow, on the morrow, my ladies, if it does, again, a sick joke about those memes back. You guys are keep up. This does pull back to like 175. Now we're talking business. So I think it will come down a little bit farther. You have an obvious, look at this, OVIUS. You know, an obvious broadening wedge. Okay, these megaphones don't last. The support's going to give. This resistance trend line is going to give. We're hoping that the resistance trend line gives, and we keep pushing forward. This is great history. This is a great look. I already know. Let me turn these indicators. I already know. I'm going to look at it right in the camera. I already know when I go back to the first key here, that 200 EMA line will be right there, and to make me excited. I bet money. Would you look at that? Oh, what dreams are made of. What dreams are made of right there. Look at this. It breaks the 200 come back. 200 comes back. 200 comes. It breaks it to show value. So again, you have options here. Now we have options, not puts and calls, but options. This breaks above these 2 EMA lines and holds. All right, now you can put your stop loss down here. You're Gucci. You now manage your risk. It drops farther into value. Now you can buy off of that. This is no man's land. Resistance is here. Support is here. You're here. Imagine this is like the enemy trenches. That's the good guy trenches. No man's land. You don't want to be here. You want to be over here or over here. You want to be across the road. This is Frogger, big fella. Trains going back and forth. You want to be here or here. Here's no good. But when you cross above the EMA lines, you're safe, or better value, you're safe. Either one's a good play. RSI could be lower, but again, it's uptrending mightily. So again, we'll take less good. I guess the word's worse. Idiot. Worse RSI, again, for this price action. Again, it can come down a little bit far. I think, can come down just a little bit farther on stochastic. Negative 40. Curl north, we're in the money. Again, bulls low, bears are looking weak. If this does cross above the 50 and 200 EMA line, it could be a fantastic play. TXN, I want it lower or want it a bit higher. We got to watch it. And there you guys have it. 8 great plays for tomorrow into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The goal of this show, as always, is just to be a watch list show, and I want you guys to really kind of take what I do and put it in your own system. I'm actually making a class right now. It's going to take till about late July, early August to finish because it's such an extensive class. One of the main things I talk about is price systems and trading systems and trading structures. And I'm not going to get into that much in this video, but what I'm talking about here is systems. The structure is my own. I'm going to talk about that in the class. But what you guys have to do is you have to take what I talk about here, what I watch list here, and you got to apply it to your own time frame, your own trading style, and your everything you want to do. I'm not perfect. I have L's too. Check my Friday video. I actually went 45 and 55% on dubs this last 2 weeks. But again, my winners are better than my losers, and I win more than I lose most often. So I still make some good successes. But what I'm doing is not going to be ideal for everybody, but what does translate is that my technical analysis on any time frame is A1, no cap. So if you enjoy this kind of content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, stick around for some more videos. I appreciate your guys' support. As always, have a good rest of your day. Thanks.